This morning, People's Democratic Party wins a Kanafin rescheduled House of Assembly elections. Activities to celebrate retirement of Justice Idonsin Temiswa from Akwa Ibom Judiciary made public. Non-governmental organization AIDS Care Managers post kick against malaria football tournament in against. Details shortly. Very good morning to you today. Welcome to the KBC 45 News. My name is Methlin Mbong. Mr. Tobong Samson Jonathan of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) has been declared winner of the rescheduled House of Assembly election for Kanafin State constituency conducted Saturday by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC). Announcing the result in the early hours of Sunday at the INEC office, Ikorakwanku, headquarters of the Kanafin local government area, the INEC returning officer for the election, Dr. Charity Ido, said the PDP candidate, Mr. Otobong Jonathan, polled a total of 41,690 votes to defeat 4 other candidates. According to her, candidates of the Labour Party scored 307 votes, APC 173 votes, Accord 48, while APA gets 2 votes. The exercise was witnessed by different party agents, party supporters and stakeholders in Okanafon, including the Commissioner for Lands and Town Planning, Obong Enokman, Chairman of the local government, Apostle Sylvester Dokan, and a national officer of PDP, Mr. Udoik Bayon. A wife of the state governor, Mrs. Ekaito Nama Pabio, has called on widows and fallen heroes not to be deterred by the situation they find themselves, but look unto God for their comforts and sustenance. Mrs. Apabio made the call during the visit to the Nigerian Army Wellington Basi Barracks, Ibawa, where she met with the widows. Livingstone Daniel completes the story.
Represented by the Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Welfare, Dr. Gloria Dead, the governor's wife, charged widows of fallen heroes to remain resolute in prayers, look up to God for comfort, adding that God will provide and take care of their children. She advised them to engage in income-generating activities to better the lot of their children, adding that God will multiply the works of their hands. Mrs. Akpabio thanked wives of officers of the Nigerian Army for being pillar of support to their husband in ensuring that the state and nation is safe, and donated 40 wrappers to 40 widows at the barracks with 10,000 naira each to support their families. She also donated 300,000 naira to the Nigerian Army Officers' Wives Association in Bawa Barracks.
The one of the governor said we should come and meet all of you, that she loves you all. And for the widows, she said we should tell you that you should not be discouraged. That the devil has set you since when your husband died in this moment will continue to keep you. Good mother, we have the list here from your mother. She has given us the list. So we'll give each widow here from the wife of the governor one wrapper each and a total of 10,000 naira.
Wife of the commanding officer Ibawa Barracks and Nigerian Army Officers' Wife Association, Mrs. Ibizo appreciated the governor's wife for the visit. She said NAWA is committed to ensuring that its members were adequately catered for, and solicited the governor's support rehabilitation the barracks initiated by NAWA.
We know the word to use to appreciate people, because indeed people have really showed me that you are actually welcomed us in Akwa Ibom, and you have proved what they've been saying about Akwa Ibom. That you people are nice people, you are loving people, you are caring people. I don't need to say it, there is no dispute about it.
The commanding officer, 6th Battalion, Ibawa Barracks, Lieutenant Colonel Idoniboye Obu, also thanked the governor's wife for the visit and appreciated Governor Godswill Akpabio's support to the barracks over the years. The leader of the widows in the barracks, Mrs. Teresa Saturday, appeared the governor's visits, praying that God will reward her for remembering them at this period.
Indeed, a great honor to the entire barracks, as this is the first of its kind in this unit, and it shows that we are loved and honored, and our husbands are also being appreciated.
The Akwa Ibom State Judiciary has put in place a series of activities this week to celebrate its outgoing Chief Judge, Justice Johnson Demiswa. The event begins today, Monday, with the swearing in of District Court Chairman and members at the Judiciary Headquarters by 10:30 in the morning. This will be followed by the inauguration of a new Magistrate Courts building in Itu local government area, new High Court buildings in Ibionibom and Esenedom local government areas, as well as the inauguration of a Judiciary Refreshment Center at the Atinan High Court's premises. On Tuesday, 28th April, there will be the Judiciary Praise General Assembly at the Multi-Purpose Hall, Judiciary Headquarters by 10 o'clock in the morning. By 1 o'clock in the afternoon of the same day, there will be inspection of the renovated High Court, Oron, and the customary courts of appeal. A statement by the Chief Registrar, Nyekanakban, indicates that public presentation of 3 books, landmark judgment of Justice Johnson Demiswa, Judicial Excellence Aces in honor of Johnson Demiswa, and special edition of Magistrate Law Journal will take place on Wednesday, April 29 at the Judiciary Multi-Purpose Hall by 10 o'clock. According to the statement, the week will climax on Thursday, 30th April by noon with a valedictory court session at the Multi-Purpose Hall. It should be preceded by Thanksgiving Mass at the Christ the King Cathedral, Wellington Bassiway, Uyo, by 10 o'clock in the morning. This will also be a review of parade to be mounted by the detachment of Nigeria Police Force at the Judiciary Headquarters, Uyo. A state chapter of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations in IPR has held a 2015 annual general meeting and second memorial lecture in honor of our pioneer chairman, the late Chief O.W. Udo. Events which took place at the NIPR Secretariat's Image House Information Drive will feature the flagging off of the South-South Study Center for the award of certificates of the Institute. Paul has the details.
Welcoming guests and members of the NIPR to the event, the Quartet Chapter Chairman, Mrs. Elsie Udofia, said NIPR was founded in 1963 and received the status in 1990 through Decree 16, now Act of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Mrs. Udofia, who is also the Director General of Akwa Ibom Broadcasting Corporation, said the annual general meeting is always to refresh memories of members and get them updated as well as review what the Institute has done in the past years. On the memorial lecture of the pioneer chairman, Chief O.W. Udo, Mrs. Udofia said is to uphold the contributions of the late icon to the Institute. The state NIPR chairman mentioned that the chairman has been participating fully in national activities and capacity building to equip members and lauded all who attend the event.
Sample this lecture and have something to take home as to how we can manage reputation, not just at the national level, but it will help us take back home in our different institutions and even our homes.
The chairman of the station, Mr. Sam Uko, said the to managing reputation national crisis is very apt now that the nation is facing insecurity challenge, advising participants to listen attentively. Flagging of the South-South Study Center, the National President of NIPR, Dr. Rotimi Oladele, congratulated the state chapter for the study center, which he rated high among the 6 that is in the country, promising to donate 250 volumes of books to the center. On the memorial lecture, the National President said lack of good image leads to bad reputation, adding that to have a good reputation, one should always know that he or she is a mirror to others. He mentioned determinants of good image to include quality of thinking and that of association.
First study center we pronounce to be so in Nigeria. So you find yourself number one. When you don't have reputation, you lack good image for others. So you must have it.
The head of civil service, Mrs. Cecilia Odoisien, who was represented at the event by the Permanent Secretary, State Universal Basic Education Board, Pastor lauded the state chapter of the NIPR for their initiative of affording members the opportunity to build their capacity and for promoting professionalism. Mrs. Udoisien noted that the activities of public relations is in line with the state government's policy of promoting professionalism and excellence by training and retraining its workforce.
The establishment of this center in New York will afford our people, both in public and private business enterprises, the opportunity to take advantage of the programs offered by the Institute to build their capacity, especially in the field of foreign relations.
In a lecture on the theme of the second memorial lecture of Chief O.W. Udoh, Managing Reputation in National Crisis, the director NOUN Calabar Center said corporate image of an organization is a summation of all impression perceived of the organization through its product, services, attitude, and behavior. Dr. Andy Heme said though consistency of image orientation turns to reputation, reputation is strategic while image is created. Crisis management, the lecturer noted, can arise from distressed economy through labor disputes in political capitalism, but indicated that with communication, crisis can be managed.
Another problem that can cause crisis is when there's information overload.
In another lecture, theme of the memorial lecture, Emerging Challenges in Crisis Management, the Public Relations Perspective, Professor Des Wilson of the University of Uyo said public relations encourages ethical use of lobbying, propaganda, social events, but enjoined practitioners to always carry the praise along. Crisis management Professor Wilson said, if handled properly, can reduce damage and build a society.
This is a crucial or decisive moment or a turning point in a time of difficulty or distress and demands institutional crisis communication.
The event featured questions and answer session, while the national president inaugurated the governing board of the state chapter of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. The eulogy of the pioneer chairman of the NIPR in the state, late Chief O.W. Udoh, was also read by Elder Namso Umorin. Iyagino reporting.
And when we return, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Uyo, Professor Comfort Ikpo, has advised students of the institution to always exhaust peaceful measures to settle their grievances with the university management. You're still watching NKBC TV News. We'll take a short break and we'll be right back. Welcome back. The Vice Chancellor of the University of Uyo, Professor Comfort Ikpo, has advised students of the institution to always exhaust peaceful measures to settle their grievances with the university management. Professor Ikpo gave the advice following a protest by some students at the main campus of the university over the disqualification of their candidate in the Students' Union election. She wondered why some students should resort to protest without formal complaining in writing and directed them to formally present their complaints to the management. The Vice Chancellor further advised students, parents, and the public against external collaboration, influence, and bad politics in students' union elections, adding that the university was not a political platform but a citadel of learning where students are groomed for national development. One of the students said they were protesting against the disqualification of their candidate in the chemical engineering department, who was vying for the post of the president of the Student Union government. The secretary of the Student Union Electoral Committee, Mr. Ekbo, said the approval and disqualification of candidates for the Student Union election is an executive decision of the State Security Service, adding that the duty of the university is to compile names of candidates vying for different positions and send it to security agents for screening before the elections. He also said this is applicable to secular elections, pointing out that this has been the practice in the university for several years. In line with the World Health Organization campaign to eradicate malaria, an international organization, Africa, in collaboration with ExxonMobil, has embarked on the malaria outreach to create awareness on the disease at Uperekam in Ibadan local government area. The outreach was part of the activities to mark this year's World Malaria Day. Correspondent Olubayo Akindele reports that the theme for this year's campaign is Invest in the Future, Defeat Malaria.
Residents of the community who came out in their numbers to take part in the exercise were tested, provided with drugs and mosquito nets, as well as educated on the symptoms of the disease. The spokesperson for Africa, Dr. Patrick Harder, said Africa and ExxonMobil are committed to the welfare and health of the people, adding that over 72,520 people, which includes 12,579 children under age 5 and 10,480 pregnant women, have benefited from the Africa ExxonMobil project since its commencement in 2011. He said his organization have trained over 172 health workers on rapid diagnostic test (RDT), drug administration, logistics, and proper data capturing and reporting on malaria cases.
Because during the World Malaria Day is to create awareness of the need to do what you can to prevent or treat malaria. With this World Malaria Day is a day set aside to sensitize people, so let them know about the tools, the various things that people can do to prevent or treat malaria.
The State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Imam Abazibasi, who appreciated Africa and ExxonMobil for the outreach, reiterated the state government commitment towards combating malaria and improving on the standard of health of the people.
We will continue to give the drugs. So that's what we're trying. You don't pay free, but I don't free of charge. But I want to one year nurse. One year nurse or doctor. Yeah, hello. Don't mock. You don't free, but I don't free of charge.
Some of the beneficiaries of the malaria outreach program expressed their satisfaction with the program and implored the state government and all other partnering organizations to intensify their efforts in fighting malaria.
We appreciate it. We appreciate it. And the Apple for being on this free medical treatment as far as malaria is concerned. It's a very common disease among us.
World Malaria Day was instituted by WHO member states during the World Health Assembly of 2007 for continuous investment and sustained political commitment for malaria prevention and control. Olubayo Akindele reporting.
Saturday was World Malaria Day. It was instituted by the World Health Organization at its 60th session in 2007 to draw attention of the people to the scourge of malaria and seek ways of eradicating it. This year's celebration has as its theme Invest in the Future, Defeat Malaria. The Commissioner for Health, Dr. Benabasibasi, in a broadcast to the people, described malaria as a mosquito-borne infectious disease which has remained a major cause of morbidity in the state and country, leading to frequent hospital visits, absenteeism from schools, and eventual low academic performances. According to him, about 3.3 billion people in 106 countries, including Nigeria, are at risk, adding that 85% of the cases and 90% of death occurs in Africa, mainly among women and children. It said the theme Invest in the Future, Defeat Malaria is a 3-year theme chosen by Robert Malaria Partners for the period 2013, 2014, 2015 to draw attention on the need to reach the 2015 Millennium Development Goals and defeat malaria in the future.
An estimated 3.3 billion people, about half of the world's population, in 106 countries including Nigeria, are at risk of malaria.
A commissioner reminded the people of the different approaches and strategies put in place by the state government to curb the menace. This estate includes improving prompt and appropriate management of malaria cases within 24 hours of onset of symptoms, provision of artemisinin-based combination therapies, Act 1234, to all health facilities, promotion of multiple preventive measures such as use of long-lasting insecticidal nets. Others are training of health personnel on the use of rapid diagnostic test kits, and the provision of all anti-malaria commodities in public health facilities for distribution to the people free of charge.
Since 2000, the war has made major progress in reducing malaria illness and deaths, demonstrating that the fight against the disease has been one of our best investments in global health to date. Over 4.2 million lives have been saved. Maternal mortality rates in Africa have decreased by 54%. Global malaria mortality rates have decreased by 47%. And 4 countries have been certified free of malaria in the last decade. The Akwa Ibom state government, in line with the National Malaria Elimination Program, has put different approaches and strategies in place to curb the menace of malaria.
April 25th every year has been set aside by the World Health Organization globally as the World Malaria Day. It is to enable health workers to sensitize people on measures to prevent malaria, such as staying away from the Anopheles mosquito which transmits malaria. To mark the day in the state, a non-governmental organization, AIDS Care Managers and Youth Empowerment Development Initiative, in collaboration with ExxonMobil, organized a Kick Against Malaria in Eket. The event also featured free health and care services and distribution of free bed nets. Yagano Paul has more.
World Malaria Day, invest in the future malaria. A Kick Against Malaria and services were held in Eket to create awareness on malaria prevention. The football team was organized by AIDS Care Manager and Youth Empowerment Development Initiative in collaboration. ExxonMobil was played between Usungyang community and 8 Stars. After the match, the representative of the Commissioner for Education, Mr. Anthony Asuko, Usungyang Warriors shocked Afareket Stars counterpart by scoring the first goal in 20 minutes into the game. The goal would be the team which spurred Afareket to give a long shot for an equalizer. Minutes, an in-swinger came from Afareket Stars, resulting in the second goal, after which the third goal followed. The Kick Against Malaria football tournament ended 1 in favor of Afarikit stars. Earlier, an AIDS-K had demonstrated the use of the mosquito bed nets. The study emphasized that yellow urine does not indicate someone has malaria, but rather a sign of dehydration.
If you don't tuck it into your mat or your mattress and keep it open, the mosquito will enter from here and will bite you. So the best thing to do is to make sure that you get in anytime that you want to sleep.
If you stay in an environment where there's no mosquito, you can actually stay malaria free.
The representative of ExxonMobil, Mr. Samuel Thomas, said ExxonMobil partners individuals and companies for the well-being of the people, which informed its collaboration with AIDS-K.
We partner with people that support giving life, wellness to people. Not only drill also, we support people also, and also support the community and the nation.
Dr. Gladys Eni of the AIDS-K and Anne Ishola of the Youth Empowerment Initiative said they aimed at creating awareness on malaria in line with the World Health Organization World Day celebration. They are focusing on students using football skills to create awareness on malaria.
We use football skills to teach them or to create awareness for them in respect of HIV, malaria, and life-saving skills.
The program that we're doing today, which is the Kick Against Malaria tournament, is meant to create awareness about malaria, to create awareness about malaria treatment and prevention, and is to inform the community about what we're doing today.
A drone without mosquito net was presented by Kedut, while presented to the first runner-up as well as winner of the Kick Against Malaria football tournament. And distribution of free bed nets.
Don't forget, you can also watch AKBC TV News online by logging on to akbconline.org or follow us on Twitter at AKBC4 or on Facebook at AKBC Channel 45. That has been the package on the news. To end the stories, another look at the top stories. About your story on the People's Democratic Party candidate in the red shadowed polls in the Ghana from Mr. Otobong Jonathan has been declared winner. He polled 40,691 votes to defeat 4 other candidates. Also, activities to celebrate the retirement of the State Chief Judge Justice Idomason Temiswa have been announced. That's the news, and thank you for staying with us. My name is Methlin Mbon.